Part 10 of Finding the Love Between Them. When Angola returned from Montego Bay on Monday, he came directly over to Frankie's house on her insistence, by phone and by text messages. She had invited him to dinner and made sure that all her family would be home to welcome her guest. Damilola was no problem, but her father had said that he was planning to see somebody, and her mother started to say that she had an appointment. But seeing the disappointment on Frankie's face, Danielle agreed to be there, and shortly after that, Francesco also became available. This would be the first time Frankie and Angola would be seeing each other in nearly 2 months. Frankie chose her outfit carefully. It had to be casual but still exude charm and sexiness. She selected a sleeveless, long maxi cotton dress with an elastic smocking bodice. It was yellow with a butterfly pattern. The elastic showed up her bust line and narrow waist and toned arms and back. She wore sandals with jewel-like decorations. Her weave was piled on her head in a bun. Her jewelry she had bought at a craft fair, wooden butterfly earrings and carved bamboo bracelets. As a final touch, she added a diamond tennis bracelet and a gold chain with a gold cross pendant back to the sunburst pattern. She dabbed a floral perfume in her pulse points. When he drove in, she opened the front door and stood in what she knew was a sultry and elegant pose, framed by the door. While he walked over all the time, she offered a glittering smile. His eyes barely met hers, but he returned her smile and very lightly brushed his lips against her cheek and stepped inside to greet her family. She was disconcerted and disappointed at the less than intense reunion when they could have been by themselves for 2 minutes. During the pleasantries, Angola told them about his plans to finish his studies while overseeing special projects at Salmon Construction. Then the conversation stayed away from his family to land on the atmospheric water bill that was being passed in Parliament. Danielle was totally against it, saying that now the government was finding a way to tax the air we breathe. Francesco said that it was a public resource like land and streams and radio spectrum. Once it can be measured, it could be brought into the tax net. Angola was concerned that the technical examinations had not been thorough enough. Jamaica had underground water in one area, which became available as atmospheric water elsewhere. Frankie allowed the conversation to wash over her and liked how well Angola fitted in at her family's dinner table. Danielle offered the grace, and they served themselves and dined by the poolside. Angola said everything looked and smelled wonderful and enjoyed his meal, but refused offers of wine or strong drink. Frankie felt a twinge of disappointment as she had a vision of them on her bedroom balcony sipping wine as they watched the sunset. The family watched a live football game after dinner. The game broke, and advertisements for carnival packages came on. Damilola touched her mother's shoulder, a cue for her mother to say, "No, you are not old enough." "But they have a t-shirt costume in the same band that Frankie is in." There was silence. Frankie instinctively knew that based on the expense of participating in Carnival and the amount of time spent going from event to event happening in the early hours of the morning, this should have been an item for natural discussion with Angola. But she told herself that she wanted to tell him face to face, not by text, and unfortunately, not in this family setting. "I had to wait until I finished school to have my first full carnival season, Damilola, so you can wait until after high school, t-shirt band or not." Frankie hoped that her voice was light and carefree. Angola did not say anything, and no one else did, and the moment passed. During halftime, Angola excused himself, saying that he had some work to focus on. He raised his hands and did a little bow to say goodnight to all and then excused himself. Frankie had to chase after him to give her own goodnight in the yard, where he kisses the top of her head, opens his car door, and quickly gets in and drives away. In a confused daze, Frankie returns to the family room. Igor is such a lovely young man, her mother said. He will do well in the family business. I'm sure things will work out with his studies as well. His field of research is quite relevant, and also with what the government is doing to tax atmospheric water. Crazy idea. After a few minutes, Frankie went to her room and called Angola, but he did not respond. So, with disappointment, she sent a text message. Hi, I was hoping that we would be able to talk more tonight, but you left. Is everything okay? It took an hour for him to reply. Hi, thanks to your family for a lovely evening. Gone to sleep. The following days passed without any contact between them. Frankie kept herself busy with pageant business and also the carnival season, which was a few months away. But her group of friends that she did her partying with were excited about how they would be enjoying themselves. In addition to selecting, customizing, and sizing the costumes, they were going to reserve tickets to parties and shows and also add on features such as beauty and photography services. They laughed that they would not always be young, so this was a time of life to enjoy these experiences. While waiting at the pageant office to be picked up, by while waiting at the pageant office to be picked up, Celine, her pageant partner, nudged her. Celine's beauty was sculptural, very finely drawn. Are you expecting big news? Frankie looked at her with a puzzled face. You're always checking your phone, Celine explained, pointing at the phone that Frankie was gripping in her hand. Not news, just hoping for a note, Frankie admitted. A guy that I've been kind of dating. She shocked herself that she would openly tell Celine this. In a few more days, the two women would be going their separate lives. Celine smiled. That's why we're in this pageant, right? To get more options to be noticed. Frankie immediately denied this. I wouldn't say that. I'm actually here to have some fun before I have to settle into adulting. Is that why you are here to be noticed? Partly, yes. I'm building up my social media following. Follow me now? Celine showed Frankie her social media handle, and Frankie scrolled through the posts. Some were of Celine in elegant poses and clothing. Others were of nature, with a few inspirational words. Frankie did not know what to make of it. What is your account about? I don't see you selling anything or modeling. It is to post positive thoughts, encouragement. Sometimes I write verses, other times it's something that I read or heard. Frankie slowed her scroll and read some of the posts. They were gentle reminders to the reader that they are worthy. One verse was very encouraging, that every day brought possibilities, and even the hope of a possibility was worth living. These are beautiful, Celine. I will share your account. Frankie smiled with Celine, and then Frankie realized that although she was sad that she was going through a puzzling rift with Angola, life was still full of joy. Here she was, making a friend out of a really nice person. She wished that she could share this with Angola. Then she decided that he would not keep hiding from her. She sent him one of Celine's inspirational verses. The image was of a man in hiking gear walking up a barren hill, and the verse accompanying it said, a stranger on the road told me, hello. My burden felt lighter.